Snow White 2025 Cost and Box Office Deep Dive Review. Introducing Disney's 2025 live action adaptation of Snow White, directed by Mark Webb, marks another ambitious entry in the studio's series of modernized fairy tale reimagining. With its high profile cast, a revoked narrative for modern audience, and a budget reportedly ranging between $240 and $270 million. The film aimed to blame nostalgia with contemporary storytelling. Despite this grand ambition, the film's journey, both in terms of box office returns and critical reception, has been a complicated one. This review explored the film in two main areas. First, a detailed breakdown of the cast and their performance, and second, an in depth analysis of the film's box office performance, distribution strategy, and audience reception. Together, these two angles offer a holistic understanding of how Snow White 2025 fared artistically and commercially. Part 1: The cast, performance, character arcs, and audience impact. Rachel Zegler as Snow White. Rachel Zegler, previously known of her breakout performance in West Side Story 2021, takes on the titular role in Snow White 2025. Her casting initially sparked significant media attention and online discourse. However, once the film hit theaters, most critics agreed that her portrayal was one of the movie's strongest assets. Ziegler's Snow White is a departure from the passive dream-like princess of the 1937 animated film. Hershey is portrayed as a determined and progressive figure, an aspiring queen who actively participates in the politics and rebellion of her kingdom. Zegler navigates his modernized arcs with emotional nuance and vocal excellence. Vocal performance. Zegler's background in musical theaters shines through every song. The ballads Waiting on a Wish and Strong as a Storm highlight her vocal range and emotional depth. She managed to blend innocence and determination in a way that feels authentic to the character's evolution, acting, and characterization. While the film's script occasionally leans into overly modern dialogue, Zegler grounds her performance with sincerity. Her facial expression, particularly in moments of fear of moral dilemma, add texture to a character who might otherwise be seen as too perfect or idealistic. Despite facing online controversy and social media debates, Ziegler emerged as a clear standout, proving her ability to carry a tentpole film with emotional grace and star quality. Gal Gadot as the Evil Queen. Gal Gadot's performance as the Evil Queen offers a stark contrast to Ziegler's youthful optimism, known globally for her portrayal of Wonder Woman. Gadot her channels a blend of regal cruelty and glamorous vanity. Her evil queen is as manipulative as she is magnetic, and Gadot, Gadot embraced the theatricality of the role with a bold, something operatic approach. Grishma and villainy. In interviews, Gadot mentioned that she had fun being mean and it shows. Her queen is icy, stylish and controlling, often veering into camp territory, which works well for this fantasy setting. Her delivery of lines like mirror, mirror has a chill that lingers even if the dialogue associately bordered on the melodramatic. Her manual number, Vanity's Curse, while not as memorable as some Disney villain songs of the past, is delivered with commanding presence and striking visual and styling. Jadot's costuming, makeups, and screen presence contribute significantly to her impact. Every frame she inhabits feels loaded with danger and drama, and she utilizes this is elevate her scenes beyond the writing on the page. Andrew Burnap as Jonathan, a new character introduced to replace the traditional prize. Jonathan, played by Andrew Burnap, is a real is a rebel leader with a moral conscience. His arc is meant to reflect the political themes of revolution and agency, yet it falls a bit short due to underdevelopment. Burnap, a Tony Award winning actor, the inheritance brings uncertainty to the role through the script gives him limited space to shine. His chemistry with Zegler is natural but subdued, more platonic than romantic. His duet with Snow White through the thrones stands out as a sweet, melodic highlight that hints at deeper emotion. Thought it's not explored future. Chrysis noted that while Burnap was Siricable, his role lacked the narrative weight to leave a lasting impression. Patrick Page as the Magic Mirror. Broadway veteran Patrick Page voices the Magic Mirror, and his rich baritone voice is intensely captivating through his screen time is limited. Page adds gravities to the mystical object, delivering exposition with a hypothic presence. His lines are often poetic, and his interactions with the evil queen feel rooted in mythology. Many fans praised Page's performance as a subtle highlight in a film filled with bolder characters. Ansu Kabia as the huntsman. Ansu Kabia plays the morally conflicted huntsman with a quiet intensity. In this adaptation, his role is expanded. He not only defies the Queen's order but also aids in Snow White's escape and political awakening. His backstory involving the loss of his family to the Queen's regime is a welcome narrative addition, thought not fully fleshed out. Kabiya's performance is grounded and compelling. He adds a layer of emotional realism that contrasts the more fantastical element of the film. While he is not seen stellar, he incurs key moments with the maturity and depth. the dwarfs as magical character. In one of the film's most controversial decisions, the traditional seven dwarfs were remained as CGI magical forest creature, while Disney stated that this change was made to avoid reinforcing stereotypes and to create a more inclusive fantasy world. The execution left many fans disappointed. Each character retains their original name, Grumpy, Dopey, Happy, etc., but is now a digital creation voiced by actors using motion capture. The visual effect is technically impressive but emotionally distant. Critics and audience alike found them to the uncanny and soulless, especially in scenes that were meant to be warm or humorous. Thought the voice actor performed with enthusiasm, the visual style clashed with the human performance. Ultimately, this choice felt like a mismatch of tone and design, detracting from the story's heart. Sporting cost. The film includes brief but important appearance by Snow White's royal parents, a loyal housekeeper who guides her early on and rebel allies who support Jonathan. These roles are mostly functional, serving the plot rather than offering standout moment. One exception is the Queen's attendant, played by newcomer Amara K. Flynn, who adds layers of ambiguity to the villain's court. Her quiet observations and subtle glance hint at deeper court politics that the script never fully explores. Part 2 box office. Performance a tale of high stakes. Coming in the next part. Part 2 box office performance A Tale of High Stakes. The stakes, budget, and expectation. When Snow White 2025 was announced, Disney expected it to be precisely project a reimagining of the studio's first full-length animated film. Updated for a new generation, this was not just another remake. It was meant to honor Disney's legacy while reinforcing its modern storytelling ethos. With that in mind, the financially investment was substantial. Reported budget $240 million to $270 million depending on the source. Marketing and promotion estimate place the global P&A prints and advertising budget between 80 to $100 million. Break-even point. Industry analysis project the film needed to earn 550 to $600 million worthwhile to turn a profit after marketing and distribution cut. This positional Snow Whites alongside major Disney tentpoles like the title Mermaid 2023 and Aladdin 2019 thought it ultimately fared much worse in theatrical returns. Domestic box office US and Canada. Snow White's opened in North America on March 21, 2025 to a relatively quiet reception despite Disney wide release across over 4,000 theaters. Opening weekend projection were modest, with most analytics prediction 35 to 45 million dollar domestically. However, the film underperformed from the start. Opening weekend $29.3 million, week 1 total $44.8 million, domestic final gross $87.2 million. This remarks one of Disney's lowest domestic opening for a live action fairy tale remake. For comparison, film The Little Mermaid 2023 opening weekend $95.6 million, domestic total $298 million. Beauty and the Beast 2017 $174.7 million, domestic total $504 million. And film next film Snow White 2025 $29.3 million opening weekend and domestic total $87.2 million. What caused this poor turnout? Contributing factors: 1. Backlash and online controversy. Long before its release, the film faced online criticism surrounding casting decision and changes to traditional character portrayals, e.g., the CGI dwarfs. Comments by Rachel Zegler about the story's feminist re- leading, retelling, and her interpreting of the prize charming trope were takes out of context by online pundits and weaponized ill culture war discovery. This likely contributed to a toxic pre-release environment. Franchise Second, franchise fatigue. After a string of live action remarks, audience seemed less interested in another family's tale even with updated visual and music. The perception that these remarks and tight little beyond suffer level change has come more common among both critics and general viewer. 3. Competition. The film faced thought competition from Kung Fu Panda 4, which was dominating the filmy demographic, and Dune Part 2, which was still strong among teens and adults. The lack of a dedicated holiday window of summer slot limited its legroom for long-term play. International box office. Disney often relies on its international remark strength, especially in countries like China, Japan, the UK, and Latin America. However, Snow White also underperformed globally. International gross $92.4 million, total worldwide gross $179.6 million. The performance breakdown by region UK and Ireland $14.2 million, France $11.8 million, Germany $9.1 million, Mexico $8.5 million, China $6.4 million, Japan $5.8 million, South Korea $3.3 million, rest of the world $33.3 million. China released a missed opportunity. Despite being greenlit of theatrical release in China, a major hurdle for Western films, Snow White performed poorly there. The general audience did not connect with the theme, and cultural detachment from the source material compounded the lack of enthusiasm. Moreover, dramatic Chinese film like creation of the gods dominated the box office during the same window, streaming a digital release. After the lackluster box office showing, Disney quickly moved to boost the film's reach through digital and streaming platforms. World release May 13, 2025, Apple TV, Amazon, Google Play, etc. Disney Plus launched June 11, 2025, most global territories including the US, UK, and I. Initial streaming reception was strong in terms of viewer within its first 5 days of Disney Plus. Snow White became the #1 most watched film globally, according to Disney's internal material metrics. However, critics got that this streaming popularity did not translate into financial redemption, since Disney Plus does not operate on a pay per title model like Netflix rentals or Apple's TV OD, offering the bump in viewership did not offset the losses in incurred from the theatrical failure. Estimated financial losses. Let's break down the economics. Total budget includes marketing $340 million. Theatrical release share Disney's cut 50% of $179.6 million is equal to $89.8 million. Digital plus streaming estimated monetization at $30 to 50 million through rentals, licensing, and platform engagement. Total earning versus cost 130 million earning versus 340 million dollar cost. Estimated losses $200 million. This makes Snow White 2025 one of the Disney's most expensive underperformer alongside titles like John Carter 2012 and The Long Ranger 2013. Industry reactions. Critics and the analysts alike saw Snow White as a wake-up call for Disney's remake model while it succeeds artistically in parts, especially through Zegler and Gadot's performance. The financial told a different story. Some insiders called the film another cautionary tale about relying on IP without culture pulse checks, while others questioned Disney's broader live action strategy. Summary table box office snapshot metrics or value. Production budget 240 to 270 million dollar. Marketing budget 80 to 100 million dollar. Opening weekend domestic $29.3 million. Domestic gross $87.2 million. International gross $92.4 million. Worldwide total $179.6 million. Estimated break even 550 to $600 million. Estimated revenue total $130 million. Projected loss $200 million. Now it's part 3, public perception, cultural impact, and the aftermath. One, pre-release controversies and online backlash. Before a single ticket was sold, Snow White 2025 had already ignited one of the most intense pre-release online firestorm in recent Disney history. The criticism began as early as the casting announcement. Rachel Zegler casting a social media blowback. Rachel Zegler, a Latina actress of Colombian descent, was cast as Snow White's traditionally fair skinned European character, while many applauded the casting as inclusive and forward thinking. A vocal subset of fans and conver- conservative commentary criticized it as woke recasting. Despite the character being fictional, the issue of race dominated discourse. Making matters worse, Zegler's old interviews resurfaced in which she commented that the original Snow White is weird. She waits for a guy to kiss her without consent. We are not doing that. Zegler intended to express excitement for a stronger female lead, but the comment was weaponized. YouTube and TikTok channels run viral content mocking or attacking her, and the film became a lightning rod in the ongoing culture war narrative. Misinformation campaigns. False claims flooded social media that the dwarfs has been erased when they had simply been remained, or that the film mocked the original. The backlash grew so intense that even people unfamiliar with the product believed the film was disrespecting Disney tradition. Disney's PR team stayed largely silenced with one feed speculation by release the damage to perception was done. Number two, criticizes which audience are split verdicts. The divide between critics and general viewer was noticeable but not unusual for a Disney remarks. Critical reception. Rotten Tomatoes 47%, Critics Metrics 52, Cinema Score plus B plus. Criticism praised by the performance of Zegler and Gadot, the modern narrative structure of the new song. However, they cited overuse of CGI, especially the dwarf's flat passing in the second act. Uneven tonal shifted between musical whimsy and political rebellion. Audience response. Among general audience, particularly families, the film scored higher. Audience rate scored 74%. Streaming viewership top 5 on Disney Plus for every 3 weeks. Social media praise, TikTok edits of Zegler performance and soundtrack moments went viral. Many parents reported enjoying the message of self-determinating or for younger viewers, with younger Generation Z and Gen Alpha viewer responding positively to the musical format. 3. Cast impact, a career reflection. Rachel Zegler, the comeback queen, despite early negatively, Snow White ended up reinforcing Zegler's reputation as a powerhouse performer. Critics universally praised her voice and screen presence, even if they had issues with the film itself. Aftermath, Zegler booked several high-profile projects post-Snow White, including a lead role in Wicked Part 2 2026. She also signed a new multi-film deal with Netflix for romantic musical Jal Godot are in eventual attempts. Gadot's performance as the evil queen was a hit with audience, particularly for her sharp delivery and visual glamour, while Wonder Woman 3 remains shelves indefinitely. Snow White gave her a different kind of role that broadened her appeal. Aftermath, Gadot's next announced role in the Cold War spy thriller Black Dove, positing her future from superhero fairy. Andrew Burnap missed spotlight. Unfortunately, Burnap's role as Jonathan did not leave much of an impression. Though he is an accomplished theatre actor, the film gave him limited material to work with. Aftermath, Burner continued to focus on Broadway and returned to stage work following Snow White. For dwarfs and CGI creatures, the experiment that failed. Disney took a creative gamble by remaking the dwarfs as CGI magical beings resembling characters of the forest. The intention was to avoid caricature and update the story with mythical aesthetics, but it backfired. Why it did not work? Unseen Valley, the CGI models felt artificial and lacked emotional nuance, loss of charm. The original dwarfs, thought simple, carried a warmth and a personality that was missing here. Fan disapproval. Longtime Disney fans expressed disappointment across forums and social media. This mistake because symbolic of the entire remark struggle catch between honoring the past and reinventing the future, but achieving neither fully. 5. Cultural commentary and theme. Snow White 2020 Snow White 2025 attempts to say something deeper than its predecessor. The themes included female empowerment. Snow White seeks agency over her life and kingdom. Tyranny with freedom. The evil queen is portrayed as a manipulative despot controlling the kingdom through vanity. Self worth versus sociality approval. A major arc involves Snow White learning to define herself without the mirrors or queen's judgment. Some applauded the thematic depth, others felt it was heavy handed or mismatched with the lighthearted musical tone. Part 4 Disney Strategy Moving Forward. The future of the fairy tale remakes. With the underperformance of Snow White, Disney is being forced to re-evaluate its live-action remake strategy. Sign of decline. Title worldwide drop. Beauty and the Beast $1.26 billion. Aladdin 2019 $1.05 billion. The title Mermaid 2023 $56.9 million. Snow White 2025 $179.6 million. The trends to know a clear declare its performance and cultural resonance. Internal change at Disney. Reports from the industry sources suggest that Disney executives are pausing or reshaping several in development remakes, including Hercules live action in retooling phase, Moana live action delayed at to late 2036, Lilo and Stitch still moving forward but with creative adjustment. The company is also investing more in animated original content following the surprise streaming success of Wish and the cultural staying power of Encanto. Streaming strategy. While Snow White underperformed, Theatrically, Disney learned that interest in legacy IP still thrives on streaming. High engagement on Disney Plus, merchandise boosted by digital visibility, global brand awareness sustained through platform dominance. This was prompted Disney to explore hybrid release strategies, limited theatrical windows followed by major Disney Plus drop. We are likely to see more 45 days theatrical exclusivity period before a title hits streaming. Conclusion: the fairy tale with a complicated ending. Snow White 2025 is not a failure in artistry, it is, in fact, one of the more ambitious and muscularly driven adaptation Disney has produced in recent years, but it is a failure of a strategy, timing, and tone. The film's heart, embodied by Rachel Zegler' moving performance, was overwhelmed by corporative expectations, cultural conflicts, and a fundamental misunderstanding of what audience want from this story. It will likely be remembered not just as a film but as a turning point in the trajectory of Disney's live action experiment. Whatever, it's the start of a new chapter of the end of a formula depends on how Disney listed and adapts. Now, part 5: Music, Visual Design, and Legacy. 1. Soundtrack and musical direction. No modern Disney remakes is complete without a musical update, and Snow White 2025 took this component very seriously. The creative team brought on Benj Pasek and Justin Paul, known for LA Land, Dear Evan Hansen, and The Greatest Showman, to compose new music alongside Alan Menken's modern orchestral adaptations of the classic theme. New song. The soundtrack included five original songs, all of which aim to reflect the emotional and thematic growth of the character. Standout included Waiting on a Wish, an introspective ballad where Snow White expressed her desire for agency, not rescue. Strong as the Storm, a rousing empowerment anthem during her escape into the forest through the throne, a dude with Jonathan exploring vulnerable and a connection. Vanity's Curse, the evil queen's chilling solo, delivered with glamorous and menacing by Gal Gadot. Gal Gadot. Origin of One, a climatic group number in the third act, symbolizing revolution and unity. These songs are lyrically modern but thematically classic. Critics praised the modernist but questioned the pacing. Some felt that song interrupted rather than complemented the plot flow. Updated classes. Pasik's Paul also rearranged several 1937 original Haito reorchestrated with a mythical woodland beat and ethereal vocals. Whistle while you work. Performed by CGI forest character, cute but forgettable. Someday my prince will come, reduced to a short modify used sparingly to signify grow beyond dependence. The choices to de-emphasize romance musically was international but lead to a somewhat muted emotional tune in traditional moment. Commercial reception. The dilute soundtracks, 15 tracks, dropped March 20 and hits hashtag 6 on the iTunes Global Chart. TikTok trends use audio clips from Waiting on a Wish, helping it gain over 200 million streams across platforms by June. Visual design, costume, and CGI. Visual Snow White was undeniable ambition, perhaps to a fault. Let's break down its strengths and weakness. Set and location design. The coastal interiors were grand, filled with neo Gothic shadow and stained glass motifs. The enchanted forest was a digital blend of real scenery and visual effect, a lust or dreamlike landscapes that earned praise for its detail. The Queen's Mirror chamber was a particularly memorable gold and obsidian texture swirling like liquid. Some of the practical sets were stunning and immersive, echoing Maleficent's visual depth, but at times the green screen reliance betrayed a synthetical look, especially during case scene. Costume. Snow White outfit revolves across the narrative from cottage rags to leathering reinforced forest grab to a royal white and gold final gown symbolize purity and power. The evil queen's wardrobe was a fashion spectacle, relevant robes, sculpture, corsets, and exaggerated shoulder pieces and helped amplify her valerian. Gadot's costumes earned comparisons of Charlize Theron's revenue in Snow White at the Huntsman 2012. Costume designed by Colleen Atom was highlights showcasting theatrical flair ground in the fairy tale realism. CGI creature design. Here where things become contributes the magical creature reception of the Seven Dwarfs was technically advanced but emotionally flat. Facial animation lacked worth, movement felt robotic compared to live actors, comedic timing suffered in group scenes due to mismatched eye lines and voice work. Additionally, great VFX heavy sequence like the Apple hallucination scene and the collapsing bridge climax looks more like video game cutscene than cinematic showpiece. Verdict visual bold, often beautiful but let down by too much digital article. Now the film review all is end. Would you like downloadable version or if you like, I will create next movies review. Tell me in comments which movies you like. I will create a review, full movie review, and what type of movies you like in. And next, I will thank you for coming to my channel. Thanks for watching and watching full videos. I like appreciate you. Please sports like, share, and now subscribe. Okay, thanks for watching.